let's get straight into how you can build a brand as a producer on social media. Now, this is also coming from someone who's on the path of building a brand on social media as a producer, so I'm going to share my thoughts and things that I've learned along the way and things that I'm still learning. What's crucial in building a brand on social media, I'm going to get this out of the way first because it's so boring to hear, is consistency.
How boring.
I know it's repetitive to constantly hear that you've got to be consistent to grow, but it's just so true. And if you want to build a personal brand, you need to be consistently establishing yourself and putting yourself out there so that you slowly start to gain an identity that people can recognize you for. And that could be from the kind of content you make, the style of music you make in your videos, your personality. And personality is often forgotten about by producers on social media. A great way to build a personal brand, which is what we're talking about here, is through your personality. And you can do that through sharing things unrelated to music, other areas of your life. It's a great way of building a brand because it makes you more relatable and authentic. Of course, it depends what kind of brand you want to put out there and build. You don't have to share other areas of your life, but it can be a really good way to build that identity. So moving on to content, the style of content you make is crucial to how your brand is portrayed, and it can be a great way of making you recognizable. It's as simple as using the same font across all your videos, editing your videos in a certain way, or even just making the same type of video over and over again. Of course, at some point you might exhaust that content style, but that's okay, you can move on to another. So find a content style that works for you, whether that's sharing tips and tricks in your DAW like the Producer Sides does, or showing the process of how you make beats and almost creating a vlog around the process, or filming yourself in studios with artists. Whatever it is, there's endless ways to present yourself as a producer on social media. So whatever content style you find works for you, and by that I mean you enjoy making it, it fits into your workflow, keep consistently posting it and see how it performs. It may take a while for it to start gaining some traction, and I'd recommend making small changes if you're not seeing much engagement with it. And how you can do that is by taking inspiration from other producers on social media, getting good engagement and good numbers. See how they edit, what hooks they use in their videos, what kind of music they make, how they caption their videos, etc. And use it in your own content to try and change it to a point where people do start engaging with it. As I said, in order to build a brand as a producer, you've got to be recognizable in your content. So don't just keep switching styles because you see one video doesn't perform well. You've got to stick it out a lot of the time to get a true reflection of whether that content style is going to be successful on social media or not. Another great aspect to building a brand as a producer is through trust with your audience. Applying this to music production, this could be if your videos, as I said, are on tips and tricks in people's DAWs, and people find that those tips are genuinely useful and they speed up their workflow. They'll start to trust what you say, the tips that you're giving out, the content you make, because they've seen that it really works and you're offering them true value. And another example I use is vlogging the process of how you make beats. If that's the kind of content you make, people can still trust the content in the same way because they see consistently that there's an end result to those videos and that there's a payoff in the full beat at the end being really good. And eventually they know when watching your videos that they're going to be entertained and they're going to be interested. Obviously, trust takes time, and in order to build that trust, people have got to see multiple videos of yours, and it's not just going to happen off one video. So it's really important to remember that having a small number of people who engage with your content is so much better than having loads of people who don't really engage with it and don't really trust you. So a great way to start is really just trying to build that trust with a small number of people who watch your videos. Which leads me on to engagement. A way you can build your brand further is by interacting with the people that engage with your videos. Often it's producers, obviously it depends if you're targeting producers or artists, but most of the time, for most people it'll be primarily producers commenting on your stuff. So reply to every comment. Often that can actually lead people to messaging you directly and striking up a conversation, which is great because you can then obviously build a bit of a relationship between people, which then ultimately helps your brand because it attaches you with an identity of being approachable, friendly, and willing to interact.
How lovely.
And I've seen this help my brand a whole lot, and often it will lead to producers asking me to send them loops or artists send them beats. And a lot of collabs have come from people seeing my content, engaging with the content, commenting, then we strike up a conversation, and then it leads to a collab. So these are just some ways you can build a brand as a producer on social media. I hope this inspired you somewhat to give it a go if you haven't started already, or if you have started, to carry on and maybe change some things which you weren't doing before. Join the producer Discord community below. It's brand new, so you could literally be the first one to join. And when we're at 10,000 members, hopefully at some point in the future, you could be knowing that you're the first one that ever joined. So join that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.